Our next speaker, Jamil Aqel, is Mandiant System Engineer Director for Emerging Region. He is an information security professional who has more than 20 years of expertise, and he's also been at MENA ISEC 5 years in a row representing his company. He's a subject matter expert in areas of security services, operations, and management. He is a trusted advisor to strategic enterprises and critical infrastructure, clients in the Middle East, and holds certifications including CISSP, ISO 27001, LA, and CE Edge, which is Certified Ethical Hacker. Please put your hands together for Jamil Aqel. Thank you.
Always a great pleasure to be here in this great event, as usual, to see all the beautiful faces of peers, colleagues, and good friends who are all sharing the same common goal of elevating the security posture of our digital lives. We'll take you quickly through a very important topic that we've been recently all advocating, all talking a lot about, which is the intelligence factor that is so key and so critical to people working in the cybersecurity space. To start with, naturally, we need to focus on our country, where we are in. We'll just give you some insights into something that Mandiant put together 3 years ago, a cyber threat score where we aggregate all the intelligence that we see from all the different intelligence sources that we have, and we give intelligence threat scores to countries and to industries. So we started this 3 years ago, looking at starting with 14 countries, and we extended it as as time was progressing, based on all the additional visibility that we have. And we can see that 3 years ago, Saudi was ranked third in terms, and the higher you go, that means that you're being targeted more. Your threat score is more dangerous. So alhamdulillah, we see that we have gone a little bit down the list, and we can see that this score is the aggregate score that we see from three main different types of actors, threat actors. Actors that are state-sponsored, actors that are financially motivated, actors that are more concerned and more into information operation and hacktivism, people hacking for a cause. And naturally, we see that usually, especially here in our region, we see that we have two factors that we look into: the magnitude of the attacks and the frequency of the attacks. And we see that the state-sponsored and financially motivated attacks are usually more serious, more damaging for enterprises. On the right side of the screen, you will see as well the top targeted industries that are being attacked by those threat actors. And generally speaking, we have continuously seen that the government sector has been, the most targeted by those threat actors, followed by financial services, energy utilities, and so on. And these threat actors, these bad people, criminals, they need weapons, they need a mean to conduct their bad business. And you will see a list of the top malware that are weaponized and that are used by these threat actors targeting the country. At the last spot, you will see the top vulnerability that is being exploited and targeted by these threat actors. So the point here, as we can see, this is a national issue. This is a big problem that countries have to face, or countries are, working on. But does that mean that it is only a national issue and it is only something that, you have to be on a country scale or a country level to work on and to try to manage? I did a quick search last week. This information is all as of last week, to look at the top 4 or 5 incidents that I have seen targeting the country. And you will see 4 cases that I have chosen, all of them recent, all of them in 2022, for different cases, different threat actors who have taken some access or some information, and they are criminals, they are threat actors. They want to make, in a way or another, want to make money out of it. And you can see that, for example, the first actor was somebody who was able to, out of respect for the customers and for their privacy and so on, we didn't, we are, taking out all the specific related information to the clients. So the first one was an actor who managed to get access to information that is extremely sensitive, some of it government information, stamped as top secret, and they were trying to advertise it to sell it. And of course, not everything we see we believe. So we do have also, we follow a standard, a NATO standard, where we have a credibility score or reliability score. These are criminals. You don't expect them to follow a common, approach or a standard approach for communication and for, working with people. So this guy started, he posted the information he has, and the asking price, initial price he put to sell that information was $9,000. But is it only, a big government issue? No. The second one was a semi-government entity that, any normal human being wouldn't think of harming, such an entity, because it touches each and everyone sitting in this room. And he managed to get email access when he was selling, she was selling his email access, not selling information. He wants to give you access. You get access to their email system, where you can, check or see emails, or send or receive emails from their email. Right. So far, government, civil government. The third incident was related to a restaurant chain. We all go to restaurants, we all eat in restaurants, and that restaurant chain had 2 brands associated with it, really big brands. It's a big company. It employs, more than 1,000 people. It's a big business. The last example was related also to a service provider. And by service provider, I don't mean a telco. Service providers can be manufacturing, utility, automobile. That service provider also has more than 2,000 employees, so it's a big one with a huge revenue. So these are, customers or clients who were actually attacked by a threat actor, and where the threat actor was threatening to release information about them. But is that it? Is it only about threat actors attacking you and you having to respond? No. We also release a monthly report of the top subjects, top titles that are used in phishing emails to educate our customers from our experience and from our visibility on what are the top things that you need to watch for. And this is as of July 2022. It's very recent. And we saw two things that were directly, affecting us, directly affecting Saudi. There's a G20 summit, a meeting that is part of the summit that is scheduled later in the year, and they were using the templates of the G20 summit that was held in Saudi last year or the year before, and were using it to, promote their phishing attacks and try to do their attacks to other people. So in this case, they were not attacking us, but they were basically, making our reputation bad. Because eventually, whoever will receive this email will receive it and will see, the stamp and the template coming from Saudi. Another also very concerning thing, the last one, was people using the event of Hajj for sending also phishing emails, which, and for me personally, sets a new standard of, how low criminals work, trying to abuse people coming just to worship, God, and trying to trick them, steal them, and abuse their need to do so. Plus many other things that you can see. So those were the top main themes that we've been seeing and that we've been observing for the month of July. Now, also continuing to look into, the top threat actors that are targeting us in Saudi, I had a look at the top 5 actors that were working, operating, or actively, aggressively targeting the kingdom. And we were able to see the usual suspects, APT 28 to APT 29, who are called, by some other vendors, Cozy Bear or Fancy Bear, plus the other usual suspects, APT 34 and Temp Zagros. Now, those 4 actors, I have personally spoke in this forum several times before about them. And I assume that, you will get a lot of information from lots of sources about them. We will not, talk a lot about them. What I am keen to discuss is the new actors that keep continually popping up and that we have to, continuously try to protect ourselves from them. This is ANC 1189, which is a group that is not yet categorized, not yet classified. And we have seen this group aggressively working in Saudi, in the UAE, in Jordan, and in Morocco, their main areas of operation. They use 2 Microsoft Office vulnerabilities that are classified with high risk rating, that are exploitable, and they use a piece of malware, an interesting piece of malware called Piecemeal. And this Piecemeal malware is based on PowerShell, who loads additional PowerShell modules into memory, it starts by scanning your machine to look into which antivirus tool are you using to ensure persistence and to try to persist, for a longer time in your system. The emails that you will get are emails that you would usually, it will be interesting for you. So one email example that we saw, the subject of the email, the attachment was محضر اجتماع أعضاء الهيئة الدبلوماسية مش عارف وزراء الخارجية العرب, which is something related to diplomacy, foreign ministries and so on, which if you usually see, you would be interested, to check. Another example was them sending emails. The title of the email is New Structure. So if I work for a company where I receive an email with the title New Structure, I would immediately click on to check where my name is. So this group has been, a very interesting group targeting different sectors with the aim of basically espionage. Of course, there is, continuously more groups, newer groups, more techniques, different techniques, same groups, changing techniques, and so on. Now, we have talked a lot about, enemies, about knowing your enemy, attackers or threat actors, and so on. Now, for you to be able to protect yourself, it is very important for you to know your enemy, and it is equally important that you really know yourself. So I know that these threat actors, the 5 that we discussed, are maybe into cyber espionage for example, the banking sector, financial sector. And maybe they are very active in Africa or in Southeast Asia. Type, do I need to worry? What is my business? What are my areas of operation? If this group is using mainly, for example, a vulnerability of a particular system, do I need to worry? Do I have the system? So understanding my threat landscape, understanding where I am exactly operating, my organizational profile, will allow me to better, knowing my threat profile and knowing who are my potential enemies, will allow me to prioritize or focus more on the things that matter. So if this UNC 1189 group is a group that I need to worry about, and if I know that their main way of attacking us is phishing, then I need to prioritize in my security spending on having a good solution to fight phishing emails. It helps because this is something that I need to worry about, and so on. So it is really important for us to really understand our threat profile, our footprint in the cyber highway, so we can make sure that we are, protecting ourselves in the right way. The takeaway that I want you all please to have out of this session is that what I call as security business as usual, not business as usual, your security business as usual. We all know that the issue of having an incident is a matter of when, not if. We will all have security incidents. All companies that we are working with, including ourselves, we all have security incidents. So I should be able to understand how my environment is looking like. For any security incident, for any investigation that I need to do, I need to have tools. I need to have agents. I need to have network sensors. Are these in place in case, la qaddar Allah, la samah Allah, I have an incident? Do I have them in place? Are they covering my environment? Are my internet-facing systems using two-factor authentication or multi-factor authentication? If I hear about a vulnerability, am I creating alerts on my SIM tool or my monitoring tool to watch for any exploitation attempts for that vulnerability? If I hear about certain trends or IOCs or any kind of issues that are out there, am I taking necessary measures with my SOC team, with my operations team, with my different teams to watch for it? Do I know what to do if I have a problem? Do I know who to call? Certain issues require us to work with law enforcement agencies. Do we know how to manage that? Do we know how to call again? So very important for us to understand and to be prepared for what we need to do in case لا قدر الله we have an incident. طيب, I am prepared. I think I have everything in the right place. Then I should assume that something is happening. We try to find it, anticipate. Do I have the right stakeholders engaged, involved? Do I know how to work with my HR team, with my finance team, with my marketing team? In case I have, for example, in case I make the news, or I have a breach, I have a problem, and it's all out there. Ensure that, okay, I am ready, I think I am ready, I have everything in place. How do I validate? How do I make sure that I am prepared? We all know that we need to do continuous pen testing or red teaming or all the different kinds of assessments that are out there to help me assess the technologies I have, plus the people or the processes that are out there to manage and handle incidents. Last thing is, the most important thing is when I have an event, when I have an incident, I should survive it. All the planning, all the testing, or everything that I did should work. If it doesn't work, or if it can work better, then I need to, a very important thing, and take it from a brother who was, who worked for a long time in a SOC. Most of the great things that a SOC makes comes from previous sad stories that this same SOC had. It is okay to have a problem one time, but like they say, shame me once, shame me twice, shame on you, shame on me. So very important for you to be able to learn from mistakes and adapt, change, to make sure that this never happens again. And we close the loop by continuously keeping to do that. This is like we said, this is our new security business as usual. This is our way of life. Intelligence is one topic out of what we in Mandiant see as the modern elements of cyber defense. It is important to have intelligence. Intelligence is the guiding light to let you know how to invest, to where to invest, to where to prioritize, and so on. But this is one part. A modern SOC, a modern security operations should have good means to be able to detect anything. If you want to protect yourself from something, you have to see it first. If you cannot see it, it's useless. So detection, and we don't only want to do detection, we want to also do prevention, response. Response can be many things. Prevention is one of them. So detect and respond. But I don't want to keep chasing incidents every day, detect to respond, to detect to respond. It never ends. We want to try to become more proactive, go one step further, and proactively hunt for issues before they happen. Any incident that we know about, ransomware or whatever, there is a series of events that happens before the actual attack is complete. Somebody has to scan your environment, they have to send some payload through a phishing email, you have to accept, you have to download, they request a key, they bring a key, and it's 5 or 6, depending on the threat, could be 5 or 6 steps that are needed for this attack to finish. If I see 5 out of the 6 steps happening, I can do something rather than wait for the attack to finish or then find out that my data is encrypted. So proactively hunting for issues before they happen is a very critical component of a modern cyber defense. Having the right command and control function, your team properly enabled, properly communicating, properly having all the needed tools or skills for them to be able to do their jobs is key. We spoke about intelligence, and the last bit is a very important topic that we are so proud to have been one of the first people to work on, which is the validation bit. Making sure that you are making your decisions based on facts, not based on assumptions. Making sure that the security tools or people or processes that you have are actually working as you are expecting them to work, not not based on not assuming that they are working right. And we do, if I may, I kindly invite you to a session that we have, a technical session on validation that will start maybe in 10-15 minutes from now. With that, thank you very much for your time.